Come for the news. Stay for the hand jobs. Mornings with Mo.
Well, this has just been a wonderful morning of start outs. Welcome to the technical difficulties her show. We run our cup runneth over. Good morning, everyone. Hopefully, I'm not muted anymore, which is good. Good morning, Wolfram and Super T, Eris, Penny Williams, Jennifer Swift, Vice Baby. Good morning, and Tammy CA. Also, good morning. You know, It it is generally sometimes possibly me. I am going to be very honest with you guys. I was pulling news stories this morning, which, if you can imagine, it's hard to find news stories that aren't, like all the politics all the time. But we have some crazy news for you. Now, I am sure I'm supposed to know who this chick is, but apparently, OnlyFans star Amaranth opened fired on masked robbers after they pistol whipped her while attempting to steal 200 or 20 million in cryptocurrency that she flaunted online. If you have expensive stuff, maybe don't tell people about it. I feel like this shouldn't be like a hard equation to master, but if you've got crypto, don't tell nobody. Also, tell me what it is, because I'm confused. Now, I thought she was. There's one named Pokemon, right? Or Pokemon? Pokimane? Is this the chick that's selling bathwater? I mean, just asking for a friend, because retirement fund, here I come. But I need to know, like, is this the chick that sells the bathwater? Because how did she get into that market? A buxom Only Stars fan who bragged online about having $20 million in cryptocurrency was yanked out of bed by a trio of robbers who held her hostage before she opened up fire on them and sent them fleeing. Now, Amaranth, whose real name is Caitlin Saragusa, 31, posted about the terrifying Sunday ordeal on X along with a dramatic video. Quote, I believe I shot one of them. I'm covered in blood and only some of it's mine, she wrote. Now, Amaranth, who has 6.2 million followers on the streaming platform Twitch. So is she a gamer or a naked lady? Or is she both? Because I guess two things can be possible. Does she play naked Genesis? Because I'm, oh, you know what? For her life choices, look, you do you, ma'am. You're not my kid. I don't care. Now, she shared the clip that reveals the moment she and her husband turned the tables on her attackers, which I won't be able to show, obviously. But we've got still frames. Now, the footage shows three men following Amaranth into a building, and then two gunshots can be heard, and the robbers can then be seen running. She said that the robbers had kicked in her bedroom door, demanding that she give them her cryptocurrency, then did strike her in the face with a pistol. They beat me and they pistol whipped me. The pummeling felt like it would never end, she later wrote on X. They gave me a phone and said log in with the force multiplier to my head, and I tweeted because calling would have been a death sentence. She managed to use her phone to post, I'm being robbed at gunpoint, to her X account. Then she led the assailants to a building where her husband, who had seen her SOS online, was waiting with a pistol. Okay, wait a minute. So these robbers are computer smart, okay? So follow me with this one. And they're not watching you to see if you're tweeting something out on X? I mean, I've never made, that. I have no idea. I'm confused. At least one of those shots was fired by the influencer herself, she said, and she tagged Staccato, the maker of the high-end force multiplier that she apparently used. Amaranth did not explain how she acquired the weapon, but said that she believes she did hit one of the attackers because there was a trail of blood left on her property. Now, Houston Police Officers Union confirmed her harrowing account with the X account, adding that she was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Now, investigators are still searching for the suspects, NBC2 reported. Well, she just likes, you know what? I bet she paid like $700 for this outfit that's all torn up. I mean, it if you want to pay $100 billion for a torn up outfit, that's fine. Now, the would-be robbers may have learned of her digital fortune when she posted a screenshot of her Bitcoin and Ethereum balances last November, asking her followers what she should do with her more than $20 million in cryptocurrency. Help, do I sell or do I hold my Bitcoin, she wrote, along with a pair of pictures of herself posing in a bikini. Now, after the break-in, she dropped the subscription fee for her OnlyFans account for 30 days with a note, "I already get robbed. It might as well let you back in for free." You have got to be kidding me. She used this to plug her OnlyFans account. This is just stupid enough to be real life, current day. Great. Just great. So glad that we all, why not? Well, it is not a good day for 80s rockers. Looks like an 80s rocker's fiancé passed away after falling from a cruise ship balcony amid a heated argument. That sounds a little sus. I'm sure it was all totally not intentional. Faster Pussycat frontman Tammy Downs' fiance Kimberly Birch has died after a tragic fall from a cruise ship during the 80s cruise on Royal Caribbean vessel Explorer of the Seas. Kimberly Birch reportedly fell from a room balcony on March 2nd, the very first night of the 7-day cruise, following an alleged heated argument with the 60-year-old rocker. Okay. Alrighty. I don't know this person, but there you go. Now, a U.S. Coast Guard spokesperson confirmed the incident occurred roughly 20 miles from the Freeport, Bahamas. The Coast Guard deployed a helicopter crew and other personnel to assist the Royal Bahamas Defense Force in their search, but unfortunately the search was later suspended, and her body has not been recovered. Eyewitnesses described a tense atmosphere on board. One passenger told The Hollywood Reporter there was an announcement over the PA saying someone went overboard, so the ship was going to stop and turn around and try to locate the person. The ship was stopped for a few hours. Safety boats were deployed with floodlights to illuminate the surrounding area. Another cruise ship nearby had its floodlights on as well, searching. My wife spoke with some of the people on one of the decks saying they heard it was a woman and it was caught on camera, but I can't confirm that. Eventually, the ship powered up and off we went. This morning, a PA announcement said that the U.S. Coast Guard had taken over the search. We arrived at Nassau, Bahamas, a few hours behind schedules, and no excursions were canceled, but I haven't heard anything since. The cruise, which departed from Miami, was scheduled to visit Nassau, San Juan, and Labidi? Question mark? Okay. Now, Birch had traveled on the cruise to support Down, who was scheduled to perform with his band during the nostalgic event. The couple, who had been in a relationship for around 5 or 6 years, appeared to be enjoying the trip prior to the tragedy. Just hours before she fell, Birch shared a photo of herself and Down on social media, writing, "We made it to at the 80s cruise." Now, Kimberly Birch's mother, Carnell Birch, shared with TMZ that Tammy Down had called her on Monday to inform her of Kimberly's death. Now, according to Carnell, it still remains unclear whether Kimberly chose to jump or accidentally fell from the cruise ship. though she is confident that Kimberly would not purposely hurt herself. Now, Carnell did note that Kimberly had been drinking on the cruise, which she described as out of character for her. She also mentioned that her daughter had had an argument with Tammy before the accident. But despite this, Carnell emphasized that Kimberly was not experiencing depression or emotional issues and had been looking forward to the trip, which had only begun. Now, the incident occurred around 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the first night of the cruise, approximately 80 miles from Miami. Now, according to a passenger on X, Kimberly jumped from the balcony of her 8th floor room following an argument with her partner. But, let's keep the speculation, intact for a while until the family can figure this out. I don't know why people have to go on and, take a very tragic thing and like, speculation, I have speculation. No. Now, at this time, her body has not been recovered. I hope they can, to give this family some closure, but I am not sure if that's going to happen. I can only hope that, the investigation is thorough so they get some answers and get some kind of closure. Now, I know I'm not typically for politics, but this story just made me smile and my heart feel good. So we're going to go ahead and tell this story. Look, I am not affiliated with any political movement. I'm politically homeless. I think Republicans suck and Democrats blow. So I have no dog in this race other than this is a really cute story about a little boy. So I'm going to tell the little boy's story. Now, Trump makes DJ Daniel, a 13-year-old who has battled cancer, an honorary Secret Service agent in a touching congressional speech moment. Now, like I said, this made me bawl my freaking flapjack eyes out. This little boy is a hero, and look, you may like him, you may hate him, but this little boy, getting recognized after battling cancer and making his day, it just warmed my little heart. Now, President Donald Trump honored, Devardre DJ Daniel, a 13-year-old cancer survivor, in a moving moment during his address to the joint session of Congress on Tuesday, announcing he will become an honorary member of the Secret Service. Daniel, clad in a police officer uniform while seated in the House gallery, beamed as his father hoisted him up while Trump recognized his battle to overcome cancer. He has always dreamed of becoming a police officer, the commander-in-chief explained during his speech, but in 2018, DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer. The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live, Trump added, but that was more than 6 years ago. Since that time, DJ and his dad have been on a quest to make his dream come true. Trump recounted how Daniel had been made an honorary member of other law enforcement agencies across the country and praised his fighting spirit. And tonight, DJ, we're going to give you the biggest honor of them all, Trump teased before announcing the honor. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States. Chants of DJ immediately erupted in the House chamber in response to the heartwarming announcement. Curran handed the boy, Daniel, a badge, making him an honorary member of the Secret Service. Daniel proudly waved the new badge around with a stunned look on his face. Trump then... So, I'm not going to get into the rest of the political stuff, but this man probably thought he was never going to have his son. They told him that his son was going to be gone in 5 months, and that was 6 years ago. And you know what? When I can see a little guy with all the morons in Congress, being bloviating buttholes, when I can see a moment of purity, I'm going to show it, regardless of political affiliation. So I just thought this was a great story. And it made me nearly cry. But to be honest, I was kind of having a Hallmark night last night, so I was almost crying anyway. Now, in the greatest news to hit the earth ever, Nessie is back, mother effers. And considering it's 2025, this is what we get. Nessie is back. Good morning, Alice G. It is Nessie business. Officials at a museum dedicated to Loch Ness, the world-renowned body of water in Scotland, home to the so-called Loch Ness Monster, have announced the first potential sighting of the elusive beast in 2025. The photos showing a black mass slithering underneath the chilly waters of the famous lake were handed over to the Loch Ness Center in Inverness by a witness who spotted the spooky shape and snapped a picture as evidence. Now, you guys don't know this, but a silent running mate of mine in my 2024 run was Loch Ness, just in case Bigfoot decided not to reveal himself as my running mate. Loch Ness was in the background. So now that he's, officially coming back out, he or she, look, it's 2025. They get to tell us what they are when they come out. And me too, Slinky, I choose to believe that Nessie is real. Because we have the Gulf of America now. Honestly, at this point, I'm waiting for aliens to show up. But I'm waiting for them to show up Mac and Me style, like they just integrate into our society and start doing like dances on top of, the McDonald's thing. Please tell me Mac and Me was a real movie, because I deeply remember that movie. It was one of my favorite movies, but I cannot find it anywhere. And I need to see Mac and Me again. Thank you, Tammy Fayette, for you guys make my morning too, because I have a place to come and talk about Bigfoot and Mac and Me, which should have been nominated for an Oscar. If I were in charge, it will be retroactively nominated for an Oscar. The exciting occurrence was said to have taken place over a period of several minutes, thanks to favorable weather occurring and offering a clear view of the mysterious movement. The center's Najina Ishwa, commenting on the event, said, "We've had numerous observations over the years, but this recent sighting has been particularly captivating." Greedy bloke, why you gotta bring cynicism into it? I know, but a museum, a center that relies on Nessie for income, suddenly has another blurry, grainy, non-4K sighting? Listen, Nessie was feeling particularly fluffy. They haven't started their Lenten diet of only fish, and they didn't want to be photographed until their good side came back out. Look, I substitute your reality and insert my own. The conditions of the day were very perfect, and this could well be our first significant sighting of the year, further fueling the mystery surrounding Loch Ness and its most favorite resident. As always, we're committed to solving the mystery of Nessie once and for all, she assured. Our previous collaborations allowed us to advance our research efforts significantly, but this potential sighting is a reminder that there is a mystery in Loch Ness that is far from being solved. We continue to explore every possibility and are committed to uncovering the truth. Independent research organization Loch Ness Exploration encourages truth seekers to keep up their efforts and to share their findings too. It's fantastic to see the ongoing enthusiasm for scanning the waters of Loch Ness in search of the legendary monster. Whether you're capturing intriguing sonar readings, spotting unusual surface disturbances, or noticing patterns in the loch's natural behavior, we would love to hear from you. Every observation adds to our understanding, whether it's potential evidence of Nessie or new insights into the loch's unique ecosystem. Keep sharing your findings. We're always excited to analyze and explore what they could mean. At least one expert seemed to recently pour a loch's worth of cold water on countless theories after some good-natured prodding from Prince William's. During a visit to Nature Metrics, a research lab near London, the heir to the British throne asked if the institution's ability to extract environmental DNA or eDNA from the water and other natural substances meant that they would be able to answer the nagging Nessie question. The firm founder, Dr. Cat Bruce, then claimed that the so-called water creature was more likely a very big eel, at least according to testing being done on the infamous body of water. Well, that woman is what we like to call a dream killer, and how dare her? How dare She kill our dreams. This is not a big eel. Nessie is, real in my mind. And I hope all the things that are real in her mind are reality. Interesting segue, but there you go. Morgan Geyser won't be free from mental hospital just yet. Why judge stayed Slenderman stabber's release? Probably because she stabulated another girl when she was 13 and we're kind of a little Twitter-pated that you want to let her free. I mean, could that possibly be it? A Wisconsin judge has temporarily halted the release of attempted murderer Morgan Geyser from a mental hospital pending an upcoming hearing, while Waukesha County Circuit Court Judge Michael O'Borahan initially ordered the 22-year-old's conditional release from a psychiatric facility in January, per the Associated Press. He now believes there's probable cause to delay Geyser's release after staff raised concerns about her, according to Court TV, the Waukesha Freeman, and WSIN. The Winnebago Mental Health Institute in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, where Geyser has been housed since her 2017 conviction for the attempted murder of her classmate Peyton Leutner, has asked the court to keep Geyser in custody over concerns about a book that she admitted to reading and contact with a man outside the facility, according to WISN. Now, the reading material that she was so focused on has themes of sexual sadism and murder and the sale of human organs on the black market. Yeah, no, ma'am. You get to read Treehouse Adventures. They teach you about history, and they're at about a 4th grade level. You get to read Treehouse Adventures and Narnia. Greedy bloke, why you gotta be so mean on the first day of Lent? Damn. Like, seriously, can't you let your favorite co-host of Shenanigans and craziness have her own cryptid? Daggone. Greedy bloke bringing the facts. He's like, facts don't care about your feelings, Mo. To be fair, reality doesn't stand in the way of me dyeing my hair red too, so there you go. I don't know what that has to do with the other, but I felt like it was a cogent point at the time I said it. Geyser's defense attorney, Deputy District Attorney Abby Nicolte said in court, per WSIN, all these things that the treatment team at Winnebago had no idea that she was so interested in. Geyser's defense attorney, Tony Cotton, said that in court that his client doesn't have internet access and is not reading anything she isn't permitted to have access to in the institution. There's no secret reading of anything, WSIN reported. Also addressing the facility's concerns, Cotton added that the facility has knowledge of visitors and the ability to monitor meetings. The hearing is scheduled for March 6 to discuss the status of Geyser's release. Now, Geyser, along with her co-defendant, Anissa Weir, admitted to luring Leutner into the woods during a sleepover in 2014 to play hide-and-seek, according to the girls. Geyser then stabbed Leutner 19 times while Weir urged her on. Now, both Geyser and Weir told prosecutors that they did it to appease a fictional character of Slender Man. All three were 12 years old at the time. Leutner did survive the attack and was rescued by a passerby after she crawled her way to the nearby bike path. As for Weir, she was released in 2021 after being housed for nearly 4 years at the same facility as Geyser. Now, the reason that Weir was probably released and Geyser wasn't is that they kind of diagnosed Weir with having what is colloquially termed folie à deux, or a madness of two. Now, inherently, psychopathy isn't sort of, transferable, but if you are next to a very charismatic person, you can start to share their delusional disbeliefs and they can become a reality to you. So, Beautiful Creatures was another kind of famous movie about a case, kind of about two young girls creating a fantasy world. I don't want her released. I understand that, I think some people can be rehabilitated, but she still has that, absolute unpredictability factor that we have no, you know, we have no guarantee that that she's going to continue to take her meds, that she is going to stay on path, that she's going to continue to go to therapy. And her looking so confused is bothering the heck out of me right now. Well, what is going to go on now that, the Supreme Court has ordered that Richard Glossip receive a new trial? Let's find out. After nearly 3 decades of maintaining his innocence on Oklahoma's death row, Richard Glossip this week now has an opportunity to win his freedom after the U.S. Supreme Court ordered he receive a new trial, finding that prosecutors failed to correct false testimony that may have influenced his jury. The question now is whether Oklahoma prosecutors want to retry the case at all. Glossip's 1998 conviction as the alleged orchestrator of a murder-for-hire scheme involving his boss, Oklahoma City motel owner Barry Van Treese, and a raft of issues with his prosecution has surfaced, coinciding with a shift of political winds now at the inmate's back. Aside from his attorneys, the fight to spare Glossip's life has largely been helmed by pro-death penalty Republicans, most notably Oklahoma Attorney General Gretchen Drummond. He and others have said it's important that Oklahomans have faith in the death penalty, that it is fairly administered, and that Glossip's execution would erode the state's, trust system, the justice system, and, everything, given the questions surrounding this, case. I have long maintained that I do not believe that Mr. Glossip is innocent, but it is now an undeniable fact that he did not receive a fair trial, Drummond said in a statement Tuesday. Now, Drummond and Oklahoma County District Attorney Vicki Brenna, the former director of Oklahoma Innocence Project, must now decide whether to prosecute Glossip again. That would be difficult, Drummond told reporters, and their choice will rest on a review of the evidence and the witnesses still available after more than 30 years. She and I will collaborate together with our staffs, he said, and we will review the evidence with a fresh set of eyes and interview those witnesses who would be available to us to make a determine as to whether we should proceed, seeking the death penalty, or whether we should proceed seeking life without the opportunity for parole, or if we should proceed with a lesser charged crime. Reprosecuting old cases can be challenging because witnesses' memories fade, physical evidence may decay or be lost altogether with the passage of time. But in the retrial of the Glossip case, prosecutors would have to contend with another issue, the Supreme Court ruling and other revelations that have undermined the credibility of the prosecution's star witness, Van Treese's actual killer, Justin Sneed, who got life in exchange for a guilty plea and testifying against Glossip. Now, the Supreme Court's ruling Tuesday stemmed directly from Sneed's testimony, the sole evidence linking Glossip, the hotel's manager, to the killing. The majority found the prosecutors had not corrected false testimony Sneed had provided at trial. And they had they, his credibility would have suffered, undercutting his testimony, the lodestar of the prosecution's case. While Drummond left the door open for all possibilities at Wednesday's news conference, he also appeared to signal that however prosecutors move forward, they may have little appetite for pursuing a capital sentence. I believe that under today's standard, very few prosecutors would seek a death penalty. He reiterated he does not believe that Glossip is innocent. By the inmate's own admission, Drummond said he would be guilty of accessory to murder after the fact for initially lying to police about having knowledge of Van Tressel's killing. Now, Robin Mayer, the executive director for the Death Penalty Information Center, called the Supreme Court's ruling a valuable opportunity for state prosecutors to fulfill their ethical and professional duties to seek justice and not merely pursue another conviction. In light of all the compelling evidence of Mr. Glossip's innocence, she told CNN, I think it would be very difficult to justify another capital prosecution. Meantime, Glossip remains in prison. On Tuesday, Drummond requested that the inmate be moved off of death row. but he asked the State Department of Corrections to maintain custody of Glossop until there is a decision about whether to retry him. So interesting. I will be excited to see how this one goes. I do think that there are some pertinent parts of his, Supreme Court case that might have linkages to the Delphi case, especially in the, jerry-rigging of some of the witness testimony, the squirreliness. I do think that there might be, something. And dear God, the present that I didn't ask for, but the Lord knew I needed. This chick. This chick is having a Dateline special. Oh my God, how many of us will be there on Friday at 8 Central with our popcorn out, our box of wine, our silly straw, and we are ready for whatever crazy this woman with the magic marker eyebrow says. Lori Vallow speaks out from prison, why she thinks that she and Chad Daybell will be exonerated. Did the crazy angels from heaven tell you that? Did you hear this from the voices in your head or like actual people? Lori Vallow, I refuse to Daybell her because she demands it. The Idaho mother / incubator, she has been removed from the mother category, convicted in 2023 of unaliving her 2 children and conspiring to murder her 5th husband's first wife, is breaking her silence from prison. In a clip from an upcoming Dateline episode, Lori insists that she is innocent and shares her belief that she and her husband Chad Daybell, who is serving a death sentence for his role in the murders, will be exonerated. I have seen things in the future that Jesus showed me when I was in heaven. With a tagline like that, I am there, y'all. Maybe we can... No, they would totally strike me for live streaming it. Damn you, Dateline. Do you understand how many streamers want to watch this with their peoples? Share the wealth. Lori tells Dateline correspondent Keith Morrison in a clip for the episode airing on NBC at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday, March 7th. And while we were not in jail and we were not in prison, they were still in the future from now. All right, how many Quaaludes does she have access to, and how do I find the particular gummies she is taking? Asking for a me. The episode features interviews with Lori's son, Kobe Ryan, former FBI Supervisory Special Agent Doug Hart, Madison County Sheriff Ron Ball, and Rexburg Police Detective Ray Hermoso, per press statement shared with People. Now, in 2023 July, Lori was sentenced to life in prison without parole after being found guilty of the 2019 murders of her 2 children, 7-year-old Joshua J.J. Vallow and 16-year-old Tylee Bryan. She was also found guilty of conspiring to murder Chad's first wife, 49-year-old Tammy Daybell. Lori was also convicted of grand theft by deception in the case for collecting government payments after the murders of her children. The following year, Chad was sentenced to death after being convicted of the murders of the children as well as Tammy. Chad was married to Tammy for nearly 30 years and had 5 children with her. But this chick makes you lose your mind. This chick. Look, she's talking to Jesus and he's telling her that she's going to be exonerated. I don't know if we would say that she's logicking on a logical level. Now, prosecutors have said that Chad, an author, I have read his story. I have read his Mormon prawn. If he writes that way in his books, I don't know how you can call him an author. It's amazing that he can even formulate a sentence. Honestly. Religious doomsday scenarios and Lori's life together revolved around a small doomsday cult that believed in preparing for the imminent end of the world and eliminating people whose spirits had turned quote-unquote dark. Yeah, well, I have seen pictures and watched videos of all three of these people, and they don't look hella dark to me. No, the only dark person looks like you, looking like you got beat up by, a makeup slash, marker. The remains of the slain children were found buried on Chad's Idaho property in June 2020, nearly 9 months after were reported missing by JJ's out of state grandparents. Now, Tylee had been dismembered and burned, and JJ had been wrapped in plastic and bound in duct tape. It was revealed at Lori's trial that JJ was asphyxiated, while Tylee's cause of death was undetermined due to what they had done to her body. Tammy died in the home that she shared with Chad in October 2019. Her cause of death was also revealed to be asphyxiation, although it was initially ruled as accidental. Just weeks after Tammy's death, Chad and Lori married in Hawaii. Now, prior to Lori's sentencing, Judge Stephen Boyce called Lori's crimes hideous and egregious, saying that Lori has shown no remorse for her actions. And she hasn't. So I don't know how she's going to be exonerated if she doesn't think she did anything wrong. But I do like the magic marker, eyebrows, and just, when you can't have access to real high priced serums and you have to live on only carbohydrates, I am sure she is pissed off that she looks all jowly. You look jowly, ma'am. Anywho, I hope that bothers her a whole lot. In what the Walmart rapture is going on here? A teen with perfect attendance at school went absent for weeks, and then police found his mom and stepdad slain at his home. I mean, what the hell in a handbasket is going on here? Authorities have arrested a Wisconsin, you truly are becoming the Florida of the Midwest. Please stop. Look, Indiana is trying to work its way up, but Wisconsin, I'm really going to need you to slow it down just a scotch, okay? Authorities have arrested a Wisconsin teenager on theft and motor vehicle charges after police found his stepfather and mother slain in their home last week. The deceased couple was found in their home in the village of Waukesha, Wisconsin. Waukesha, y'all just cannot catch a mother if flippin' break, can ya? Look, I think you need to consult with Stephen King, and, in addition to Derry, Maine, is Waukesha, Wisconsin like a portal into Todash space? Look, I don't pay attention much to Stephen King, but I got onto Stephen King lore last night, which he's annoying. His lore is interesting. Go figure. Police did not name the victims in the statement, but family members identified them as 51-year-old Donald Mayer and his wife Tatiana Casp. Both TMJ4 and CBS 58 reported. Later on February 28th, officers from Waukene Police Department in Kansas arrested 17-year-old Nikita Casp while the teen was allegedly driving Mayer's car, according to the criminal complaint originally obtained by 12 News and reviewed by People. Now, the complaint alleges that Nikita had Mayer's firearm on him as well. Nikita is a girl name, isn't it? Maybe it's a boy name too? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I just have been, corrupted by La Femme Nikita. Maybe that's not a girl name at all. Now, investigators soon learned that neither Mayer or the Casps had been heard from in days leading up to the discovery of their bodies. On February 28th, around the same time that Mayer's mother requested a welfare check, a school resource officer from Nikita's school requested the same thing per the complaint. The resource officer said that Nikita had maintained a perfect attendance, record at the school until he stopped showing up for about 2 weeks. The couple had a waning communication with those who knew them throughout the month of February, according to the complaint. Tatiana's vehicle was last recorded with a license plate reader in the neighborhood on February 11th. On February 23rd, Mayer's mother received a suspicious and weird text message from him, she told the police. And then Mayer's manager at work told the authorities he had last heard from him on February 25th when he received a text from the victim's number saying he was sick and couldn't talk on the phone. Now, during the welfare check on February 28th, Tatiana was found covered in blankets next to dried blood and a bullet hole, and Mayer was found under a pile of clothing with an obvious wound on his head, per the complaint. Now, police eventually tracked Nikita using Mayer's car information. He has been charged with 1 count of theft and 1 count of operating a motor vehicle without the owner's consent. Online records did not indicate a plea or an attorney, information for Nikita. Waukesha authorities said on Monday that an autopsy had not been completed, or had been completed but did not declare a cause of death. An investigation is still ongoing. I think we're looking at another, Oh, Tammy CA, thank you. I did not know that. See, I learn new things. Boosh, look, I was half awake. If you guys are members, and we'll see, or when even if you're not members, by tomorrow, you guys will see my morning musings. And 3 a.m. me is not responsible for the, YouTube videos or the things that I put in my cart on Amazon, which is like $400 worth of gummies for some reason, but apparently I was hungry. We have come 3 a.m. me, and I have come to a workable adult, compromise that I can put everything into the cart, but I'm not allowed to buy it until I wake up and sober awake Mo looks at all said purchases. After I bought glittery sparkle light up roller skates, this was before I was hurt. And I had a reason I was buying the glittery roll up or light up roller skates. I had decided that I needed to get more active, and I figured roller derby was going to be my only sport that I could possibly contend with. But I remembered, I was like, we need to be smart about that. And we need to get a pair of roller skates and start practicing before we try out. Well, considering a deer got me before the glitter roller skates made more than their second debut around my neighborhood, I can only assume that God was looking out for me, because I can only imagine what I would have broken had I continued to believe that I could be a roller derbyist. Now, why I decided to be a roller derbyist and why I played this whole thing through and bought the glitter roller skates, I cannot explain to you. Which is why, again, we have instituted the rule of you can put it all in the cart, but you cannot buy anything until you are awake. I guess there are new people. So my journey into CRPS started with me deciding I was a little too fluffy and I was going to walk around my neighborhood. And I was doing great, y'all. Like Monday motivation, Wednesday grit. I was rain, shine, tidal wave. But I was going out early in the morning, and our HOA has seen fit to not light any of our streets because why would we do that? We need to pave the first front mile of the entrance of the HOA every 2 years. But lighting and making things safe. So I am on this, what I like to call Meth Meadows part of our HOA. It is right on the Indian or the White River, and it's basically falling into the White River, okay? Because we apparently didn't plan for erosion and reality in the 70s when we were planning this, this little area. So I'm on this road that is cracked all to hell and in the dark. And, I'm listening to whatever I'm probably listening to, hoofing it on out there. And of course, because I have decided to be extra, and I do mean extra, because I will explain to you how extra I decided to be. I was not only going to walk, I was going to rucksack. So in my backpack was I think 15K plate weight. And it gets better. No, it gets better. So, in addition to the plate weight, I also had ankle weights on and I had wrist weights on because if I am going to walk at 5 a.m. in the morning, I better be, doing as much as I can. Well, I forgot to realize that this would, of course, take off my balance. And I was getting ready to go up a hill that's legitimately, I think, 50 degrees. I call it Murder Death Hill. I was getting ready to go up that hill. So, you know how you've taken like 10 steps and then you kind of give yourself a little bit of a chance to breathe? Well, I was getting ready to give myself a little bit of a chance to breathe when a deer stopped or stepped out, startled the hell out of me because I thought, oh my God, this is how I die. Bigfoot is going to attack me in the middle of Indiana and no one's going to even take a picture. I didn't end up dying, but I did end up startling myself so bad I fell into a drainage ditch. Now, somehow I ended up snapping it's that little round butthole bone, anatomical name, of course. I managed to crack that in half. Now, I don't know how I did that particularly, and my entire left side of my body was pretty bruised up. Well, had I been paying attention, I would have noticed the, extreme pain, swelling, redness, discomfort with ice and all of that. But that literally was the injury that sent me into CRPS. So I always claim that deer hate me now. They are out to get me. When I see now the coccyx is your tailbone. Where is my whiteboard? Oh, I was on top of things yesterday. Okay, for some reason I always have to put me in flip-flops now. But the bone that I broke is that little round asshole bone right there. Well, right here. That would be that little, and it's never quite actually grown back together, which you think it would have done in the intervening 3 years, but apparently it's like, nah, we're broken up. We're never getting the band back together. I do think I need a helmet like Shizzy. I mean, honestly, I need a helmet like Shizzy because my cats. Now, I'm not saying that my cats are serial killers or that they honestly want to hurt me intentionally, but I think that the two orange ones think it would be effing hilarious for one day for me to just take a header off the stairs because these orange cats like to lay on the stairs. And if it is 4 a.m., and you are maybe not as awake, but you are trying to get them food because they're crying, well, then they will sit on the stairs until you nearly step on the squishy potatoes because they have lumped themselves onto the damn stairs like you're not trying to go, serve their furry asses. And I swear, these cats, I'm not saying they're trying to off me, but they may be in league with the deer, is all I'm throwing out there. I could be wrong, but if I'm wrong, I don't want to be right. Well, a wild courtroom brawl has erupted in Long Island in a hearing for a teen murder suspect. I am actually shocked that we don't see more of these, considering how high emotion, high stakes, the worst parts of people's lives are going on when you're going through court stuff and hearings. So I always do wonder why we don't see more. And I'm actually glad we don't see more, but I would have a hard time if someone did something to my family and then was acting like an absolute douche canoe. I would have a hard time controlling myself either. A melee erupted in court at a hearing for a murder suspect on Long Island Monday when a spectator began shouting, and it took at least 6 officers to haul him out. The violent incident occurred when Nassau County judge ordered second-degree murder suspect Jeremias Farino Rodriguez, 18, held without bail, NBC4 reported. Rufino Rodriguez fatally shot 19-year-old Jefferson Mencian Fernandez at a busy Hampstead intersection near his home in broad daylight Saturday as part of a simmering beef, according to county officials. Well, yeah, I mean, if you have a simmering beef, then by all means, go ahead and take someone else's life, you absolute friggin' giblet head. Now, shortly after Rufino Rodriguez was told by the judge that he would be held without bail, a young man in the courtroom began shouting, "Hold your head up," to the defendant, according to the outlet. Now, authorities said that the spectator appeared to be a relative of the suspect. Okay, when you have more support in your said court hearings than you did if you got an A or excelled in school, maybe there's a cultural thing that needs to be happening. The unruly spectator was ultimately dragged out of the courtroom and charged with contempt, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest. The slaying victim, Mencina Fernandez, had been helping his mom move between apartments when Farino Rodriguez allegedly pulled up behind him in a car and shot him, not unaliving him. So this is the gentleman being held without bail. Do they have a picture of the victim? Because I don't particularly want to see this douche's photo, but apparently we only have this douche's photo, so I'm not going to land on him. These two individuals knew each other. This was a targeted event, said Nassau Homicide Squad commanding officer Captain Stephen Fitzpatrick. Apparently there was some friction between them in the neighborhood, and on that particular day, they ended up in the same location on the same time. It's so pointless. I don't get it. In a man fighting for, all of us, a man wins $200 in a lawsuit over a movie theater showing too many commercials. You all, I think this man deserves a hero fighting for every single one of us who have to watch those locally done, insurance company commercials at their local theater. Like, "Hi, my name is Jan, and I'm here to sell you real estate." Well, I'm at your current movie theater, so I don't think that I'm going to be buying a house right now. Or then it's like, "Hi, this is Big Bill from Big Bill's Waterhouse and Waterbed and Water Emporium. We are here for your water emporium needs." And I think I speak for everyone when I say that we could do without that. We're going to waste money on Hollywood, and we already feel bad enough about ourselves. We don't need more pain. An Indian man was awarded more than $200 in compensation when he sued a movie theater chain for showing too many commercials before a film. Oh, for the love of all that is holy. Abhishek Amari, 31, of Bangalore, filed a suit with the Bangalore District Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission after he attended a December 26, 2023 screening of Sam Bahadur at the PVR Megaplex in Bangalore. Bangalore. There's not a D in there. It's not Dumbledore, I don't think. Abhishek's complaint against the theater chain owner, PVR INOX, said the film had been scheduled to end at 6:30 p.m., but didn't end until just before 6 p.m. He said this was due to the film being preceded by 2 public service announcements and 17 commercials. The plaintiff said that the movie's delayed ending caused him to miss a scheduled work call. He sought $547 in damages for what he called unfair trade practice, as well as $57 for mental agony and $115 for legal costs. The District Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission sided with him, but awarded him only $230 in damages and $92 for legal costs. In this new era, time is considered money. Each one's time is very precious, the ruling stated. 25 to 30 minutes is a considerable amount of time to be sitting idle in a theater watching unnecessary ads. People with tight schedules do not have time to waste. Abhishek says he hopes other businesses will take note of the ruling. Every other business in India has started to think about time being of essence and how not to waste their consumer time. You show him, sir. You know what? He has done more for the world than Casey Anthony. And I say, sir, slow clap. And this is the civil rights movement I'm willing to stand behind. My time is important. Stop sending me ads. Now I just need to do a carfessional and I'll be good. Okay, hair up or hair down when I decide to announce myself as a civil rights fighter to not waste our time? I don't know. Well, maybe don't try to, wrestle your way onto an airline flight after security has told you no. A newly engaged couple was busted in a wild Miami airport brawl with American Airlines staff. But they are speaking out saying that no one, threw coffee. Well, you did try to run your ass into the airport with, security telling you no. So I'm not sure how you're going to spin this one. A couple arrested at the Miami International Airport for allegedly throwing coffee in an airport worker's face said that they were flying to Mexico to celebrate their engagement and blamed their arrest on a misunderstanding when one of them dropped the, cup of coffee. No one threw coffee. The coffee fell. Brazilian doctor Beatriz Report de Campos Maya. Do what now? That's a mouthful of a name. 29 told CBS News Miami of Sunday's fracas with American Airlines staff. The lady who said I threw it was a liar. I just dropped it on the floor. Her beau, Rafael Seraf Noveles, who was filmed being wrestled to the floor by security, also denied throwing coffee, claiming he was the one to get unfairly hurt in the skirmish as they tried to rush for a connecting flight to the celebratory vacation in Cancun. No, I'm not crazy. We wouldn't throw coffee. Coffee I drink, the 41-year-old said, showing CBS the scrapes on his knees. I got this from the carpet from the policia. I didn't resist. Okay, don't say I got carpet burns from a bunch of guys in the airport, because that might mean totally different things than getting arrested. But chink. Now, Maya said that they were rushing to make a second connecting flight for what was supposed to be, a celebration of their engagement. We just lost our trip to Cancun. We just got engaged, and what happened was a bad thing. We were going to Cancun to enjoy our vacation all-inclusive hotel, and we've already paid for the hotel, so it's just a lot of money, and then we weren't able to do that. Now, officials said that one of the pair threw their coffee in the faces of an American Airlines employee, with sheriff's deputies called out for their planned, flight. Now, De Campos Maya and Sarif Noveas were charged with battery and trespassing after allegedly ignoring a no trespassing sign on the Dret Bridge while attempting to board their flight. He also faces charges for resisting arrest without violence. American Airlines told the outlet that acts of violence are not tolerated by American Airlines, and we are committed to working closely with law enforcement in the investigation. Now, the couple, who are Advantage Platinum Pro members with American Airlines, said they're unsure whether they can still, try to visit Cancun. I mean, honestly, don't be an a-hole. I think this is like common knowledge is don't be an a-hole, and generally, like, people won't try to, clothesline you and put you in handcuffs. Figured this would be kind of, a thing. Now, I didn't mean for this to be one of our last stories, but we do need Lord Chippy attendance to come up because y'all, I can't even make sense of the bull pocky I am trying to be sold here. Y'all, man says his dangly bits were too small and he's too fat to have SA'd a teen. I mean, I don't want to do the science-to-logical evidence finding of this, but I don't give two craps. If you haven't been adjudicated guilty, how is your defense against a crime going to be, I am too fat and my bits are too small? Your Honor, I have a micropene. I could drop trowel, but you still wouldn't see it because my gut covers. I wish this were true, but I doubt, I'm sure if there was a will, there was a way, given the look of you. Absolute redonkulousness. What in the name of Hades am I looking at? I mean, two people that obviously missed the, genetic evolution that happened after the Cambrian period, but, other than that. When confronted with claims that he abused a teenage girl for years, a Colorado man said in defense that his genitals were in fact too small and he was too fat to carry out the acts. I don't even know what to say to this. JKD Buck, why, when you're right, you're right. They always do look exactly like you would think it would. Yes, you're right, Copper. No, Your Honor, in my defense, I'm really, really not well hung. It's an innie rather than an outie. The District Attorney's Office of the 18th Judicial District announced Tuesday that Brandon Robert Berg, 44, was sentenced to 80 years behind bars. I guess the jury did the measurements or didn't give a rat's ass how he, interprets physics. The jurors had convicted him of 3 counts of SA on a child by a person in a position of trust, 3 counts of aggravated incest, and 1 count of second-degree assault. Prosecutors tried him and his wife, Rebecca Berg, 52, who was convicted of at the same trial of 2 counts of aggravated incest. Authorities say Brandon Berg claimed to be gay as part of his defense against the abuse claims. When questioned by investigators, Berg said he was unable to have intercourse because of the size of his belly fat and the small size of his dangly bit. They wrote he also claimed that he had an alternate sexual orientation, which made him disinterested in the conduct, allegedly. So when being fat and not well and micropened didn't work, he's like, no, y'all, I'm gay. I'm super gay. No, just... I'm sorry, cat toes. Berg allegedly stood by all of those claims at trial when he chose to testify. Oh dear God, please tell me that this was streamed. I mean, I'm sure they didn't stream it because of the absolute horror this had to be for these victims, some of whom it seems like were related to him. You gross, disgusting pieces of trash water. Like, ew. Ew and gross. And no. Just no. All of you know. Now, Rebecca Berg was sentenced to 4 years to life behind bars. Once out, she must also serve 20 years to life of offender status intensive supervision. Now, according to prosecutors, the abuse survivor stepped forward to the Aurora police in 2020 when she was 19. The abuse had started when she was 15, and Rebecca Berg would join in. The last abuse happened the day before the police took her statement, she said. The victim reported that she had had encounters and abuse with Berg in order to avoid being laid hands on and injured. While interviewing the victim, a detective documented a 4-inch long scar across her back that she said was a result of Berg scratching her with a fork. The detective noted that the most significant scar was on the back of the victim's right shoulder, where the victim said that was a result of the defendant branding her with a knife that he'd heated up. I'm sorry. No, Lord Chippy. This man goes directly to the victim and she can do whatever hostile dream that she has dreamed up. Okay, fine. You know what? Chat, I'm not judging you. I'm not judging you at all. But if any one of you have been able to watch Hostel all the way through, I am willing to turn this man over to you and you can have fun, allegedly in Minecraft. The branding contained the initials RB, which the victim believed stood for Brandon and Rebecca, her abusers. The prosecutor's office credited the survivor, not the victim, yes, the survivor, for stepping forward. The survivor in this case showed the immense courage and bravery she needed to stand up, the Chief Deputy District Attorney Jacob Kremen said. She played an instrumental role in preserving evidence. Defendants worked together to present an array of ridiculous excuses, but DNA left no doubt in the jury's mind regarding the defendant's guilt. These defendants robbed a young girl of her teenage years, essaying CA, and using emotional abuse against her as well. The Assistant District Attorney Ryan Brackley said, "It is appalling that a mother and a stepfather, God dang it, these 6 sons of bitches." So it was her daughter. She abused her daughter together with this absolute douche canoe. That's it. I don't like any of them. I'm here for it, JW. I'm going to have to find it in the budget to do hazard pay for whoever does this. While no length of time in prison will undo the trauma that the survivor of these horrible crimes endured, we hope that the sentences will offer her some measure of healing. Ugh, these two. And in our final story that isn't terrible, but unfortunately our terrible story got knocked to the end because of other absurdity. A woman is baffled after discovering she is the splitting image of a 1909 painting. It's almost unnerving. So this is the painting of her and her together. Now, this article devolves into maybe she was reincarnated. And I know I believe in Nessie, so my inability to believe in reincarnation, meaning that she's actually the chick from the painting, does probably make some of you confused. But you have people that look alike, at all times. But no, she thinks because she is a painter herself and she looks like this chick, she's going to get DNA testing to see if she was related to the original artist, and also wants to check up on past life repressions. And I'm like, I wish I could repress this article from my memory. But I mean, it's cool to find things. I mean, she's a beautiful woman. The woman in the photo was beautiful. She does look somewhat alike, but no, just no. Stop. All right, I am stopping the poll in another couple minutes. If you want to vote on where the Petty Express heads to today, we have 2 options. We can finish up day 1 and head on into day 2 of the Skelton Brothers probate hearing. I think we're learning a lot of interesting things in one place that isn't coming from, and nothing against true crime, channels like on the internet. A lot of them do really good research. But having the official timeline from all the major agencies coming in and listening to the mother testify for the first time, I think, in a court hearing, a long court hearing. It is getting interesting, but we do also have the Stacey Rodriguez arson case, you know, the lesbian possible love triangle slash self-defense arson murder that only Colorado could make boring. So I'll give you guys some chances to, you know, get some final voting in, and then I'm going to let you guys go so I can set up whichever stream we're going on to on the Petty Express. And I hope you guys had a good evening. I know that there are big storms going through America right now, so if you are in any of the affected areas with, you know, storms and stuff like that, you know, keep abreast of what's going on in the weather. All right, you guys, it is looking like we will be heading to day 2 with the Skelton brothers. I do hope Mr. Mo has to travel up north, so I do hope that if we don't get Stacey Rodriguez done all of this week, I should be able to get her done this weekend. So we have not forgotten about you, Stacey Rodriguez, with the braids in your hair. I will see you guys in just a little bit. Have a great day if you aren't hanging out for the Petty Express. If you are, I'll be there in a few minutes. I'm going to rotate laundry and do other glamorous things like making sure that, you know, the dishes are done from the magical sink that only I can see. Bye, you guys.